I'm Fox 31's Tammy Vigil. The celebration. The dancing in the streets ended abruptly near midnight, when vandals tore down light posts, overturned newspaper machines, and set bonfires in the middle of streets. That was the cue for police to move in with full force, making arrests.
I was standing there.
And when the rest of the rowdy revelers wouldn't leave, officers resorted to tear gas grenades.
105. Gas coming? Yeah, let them have it.
They also used cameras to record alleged crimes. One rioter hassled our photographer. The pepper ball gun can zero in on a specific lawbreaker instead of spraying whole crowds.
Got to the front of the line, they shot me with a paintball gun.
Injuries were on the low end last night, including those hurt emotionally by the violence.
This is like really disrespectful to our city. It's one thing for a football team to win, but it's another thing to completely trash a public area. It's completely uncool.
Police and most who live in Boulder hope for a much different outcome when the Buffs play in a major bowl game in January.
Oh. Thank you, Boulder.
In eastern Colorado, the wind and the tumbleweed are a way of life.
It was calm this morning.
Farmer Ron Bornhoft will tell you all about the weather.
Nobody's ever asked me about it, and everything.
He doesn't usually talk about it.
I think they're about over 90 foot down.
A nuclear bomb named Mike 6 buried in his backyard.
It was just something the government did, and you went along with it and everything.
Bornhoft's land is surrounded on all sides by Minuteman missiles.
There are literally dozens of buried nuclear missiles here in Colorado. They're located on farms, near churches and schools, throughout small towns across the eastern plains.
In all, there are 49 missiles in Colorado, 11 nuclear bombs a few miles east of Grover, 10 bombs between Keota, New Raymer, and Stoneham. The town of West Plains sits in the middle of 21 missiles. The other 8 bombs are near the town of Peets.
This is November 01.
November 01 is a nuclear missile launch control center.
We have the bulk of the missiles that are in the state of Colorado.
I'm armed with an M16 rifle, 180 rounds.
Fully armed Air Force officers monitor Colorado's missiles 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Primary responsibilities are to provide security to nuclear resources.
65 feet below ground.
Clear.
Behind 2 airtight doors.
Back to inspections.
On the right, behind another blast door, is a launch control center.
13-85.
Inside a steel capsule built in the 1960s. 2-person crews control the most powerful weapons in the world.
CD repress switch should be closed.
They verify that they're operationally ready to go at a very moment's notice if the president decides that it's necessary for us to launch one of these.
Lieutenant Colonel Tim Adam calls Colorado's 49 missiles a deterrent.
It's hard to really quantify the number of potential threats or attacks that may have occurred had we not had this extreme deterrent capability.
One of those bombs could flatten a huge city.
Activist Bill Sulzman says the missiles make Colorado a target.
Well, I think there should be much more concern than there is. It's really wrong for people to have gone to sleep and said they haven't been used so far, so they must be okay.
It looks bleak.
For Ron Bornhoft, out of sight means out of mind.
Why, it's just part of life and everything. And
he says he'd rather live with the missiles in his backyard than live to see the day they're launched.
As long as you've got greed, hate in the world, there's going to be war. I don't have the answer for it other than prayer, We pray for peace all the time.
On Lake Nokomis in Minneapolis,
I feel like I should swim instead of skate.
It was 3 inches of water covering the ice rinks.
We're going to play hockey. We're going to try anyways. Not going to look very pretty, but...
They played despite the water. It definitely didn't look pretty. In fact, it looked pretty painful.
You take a lot of baths.
The puck sat beneath the water's surface.
And puck wasn't sliding very well.
Maybe this is lake hockey in the truest sense.
Mike Fanenstein and Tom Thole rang the water out of their gloves. Nothing stayed dry.
I have no idea I'm going to keep it dry.
Or legible.
I guess it's just part of Minnesota.
Hockey wasn't the only thing doused by Mother Nature. Ice sculptures at Rice Park in St. Paul, part of the Winter Carnival, dripped.
Yeah, I really hoped when I came here that it was sun shining, blue sky, very cold, a lot of snow.
It was just the opposite, and the crowds didn't show up like event organizers had hoped.
Rain in January, who would have known?
While everyone went home wet, the rain didn't dampen spirits.